looks like Prince Harry is not about to become a paperback writer after all, even though, of course, his first book, one of 4 according to the press release for Penguin Random House, was relatively successful, even at the costly price of £25. But as I told you at the time, no book truly sells for that cost price. Many were down to £7 UK British pounds over here in the United Kingdom. So while it was selling well, it certainly wouldn't have turned a profit that they would have initially hoped. Now, as we all know, Prince Harry's book is going to be coming out in October. And according to that source, there's going to be no new material included. Included, of course, no pictures. According to a very well-placed source with inside Penguin Random House, they suggested, well, what about 1 or 2 pictures with a few words underneath to describe the situation? No. So what was the reason why Harry is now not only updating the book, but more importantly, not promoting it either? Let me explain. Morning, good to see you. You all right? Thank you so much as ever for joining me today. By the way, the Oasis stuff, you know, the rock band that are getting back together, it's interesting that because they have sparked a revolution in people wanting to look out vinyl again. You've got to remember the 1990s were still clinging on to vinyl. If, like me, you'd sort of transferred over to CD, it's a bit annoying, wasn't it? And then there was mini discs. Do you remember that? I think Michael Jackson's album came out in a mini disc. It never really took off, did it? I think it was just too expensive and you didn't feel like you were getting your money's worth with the writing and the size of the mini disc. It's all about perception, isn't it? You know, are you getting what you're paying for? And I think that really was the problem. But good for Oasis, the fact that people are now looking at vinyl again. But have you seen how much a vinyl album is now? It's not what you thought. You check it out. It's a shock, let me tell you. Yes, oh goodness. I don't know how anybody affords Taylor Swift's sort of albums on vinyl. How would you possibly afford that? Well, maybe somebody who could afford it, of course, is none other than the former royal Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex. This is because, as we know, he will be getting some money for the paperback edition. And a lot of people were saying, well, you know, normally when you bring out a paperback, you do get a revised chapter, you do get updates or a new, you know, couple of segments. That's the whole point of selling the paperback. You might even react to some of the negative stories that happened when you first published the book. Now, the thing is, everybody's trying to paint this as an olive branch to his family. He feels he's done enough hurt, all of this sort of stuff. The true story is Harry's still fizzing, that nobody's actually come out publicly and said from the family that they've read it and they understand, and it was good to get his perspective and his side of the story. That's what he was truly looking for, particularly from his elder brother, Prince William, His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales. But the other side of the coin, as ever, we have to say allegedly, is Penguin Random House were not snapping open the purse. You see, the bottom line was that Harry would have needed to be paid to update that. And that would have been a ghostwriter, an editor, and then the promotion would have cost more money as well. See, this wasn't part of the deal. I think Penguin Random House were so ahead of themselves, just thrilled that they managed to get the signature on that contract. They didn't look at the finer print. So Harry, very shrewdly, or his advisors, the people around him, have said, well, he would do something, but what's the money? Now, they realise, of course, that unless he's going to be very juicy, as he was in the first edition of the book, and tell stories, well, that would be great. But according to that source also, Harry wanted to be a little bit kinder this time around, particularly talking about the Platinum Jubilee and the coronation, stuff like that, correcting rights and wrongs and, you know, all the things that he was unhappy with. They didn't think this was going to be a big selling point. They wanted gossip. And so that particular part of the deal fell through. What's interesting to note now is, where is the deal with Penguin Random House? With no other book in the offing and now a paperback that's coming out with no promotion, it looks like, once again, one of the mega deals that was going to be so big for them is sort of frittered away in what some people might suggest was a great big fanfare to start with. Of course, let's not forget, he became the man he became and not the prince he was born. And Penguin Random House, and I've spoken to them, have no idea what's next from the Sussexes. Now, that doesn't sound like a solid contract to me, does it you? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.